Who doesn't love the PlayStation 2? As a SEGA Dreamcast diehard, I defected over to the OG Xbox back in the day and didn't get into the PS2 until about 20 years ago. But man, when I did, a whole world of arcade racing opened up before me. And even then, it wasn't until I discovered the PC SX2 emulator that I realized just how much gold was locked behind Japanese-only releases. Here's 5 brilliant PS2 races that were released locally and only in Japan. It's amazing to me that in this day and age, the walls have been torn down and we can all enjoy these games together. Let's get on with it. SHOX is the best arcade rally game on the PlayStation 2. It's also brutal as f***. First up, the game is gorgeous. Blazing fast 60 frames per second impresses with awesome color work to boot. The music is also pretty fantastic, featuring some licensed electronica that provides the perfect racing accompaniment. Racing takes place in 3 environments over 4 speed classes with 24 unlockable cars. In this new playthrough, I've made more progress than I ever did when I owned the PAL version of the game, but I've only just hit the 3rd speed class. SHOX is incredibly unique for a game under the EA big banner. You've got SEGA Rally-style controls here, but the races in SHOX stand out for their unique features. Each track features 3 SHOX zones, which are small sections of track that require you to get through as quickly as possible. Depending on how fast you make it through, you'll nab a bronze, silver or gold ranking. Nab gold and you'll be able to race nighttime variations of the course. Get all 3 in a row and you'll enable the SHOX wave. Ride the wave and watch your cash winnings increase.
3, 2, 1.
Cash plays a pivotal role in SHOX. You can use it to buy cars, but cars are expensive. If you don't want to grind out a car, then you've got the option of gambling in what equates to a pink slip race against the car you want to buy using the car you want to buy. Cash requirements for gambling are much lower than buying a car outright, but you risk losing that money if you fail. It's a great system that will make you sweat. You can reduce the gambling requirements too by getting as many gold times in the SHOX zones as you can. This makes the gambling, well, less of a gamble. You can earn platinum variations of the cars too, and these offer up better stats all round, making things easier. Handy, because nothing in SHOX comes easy. The AI is brutal. They're fast, mean, and will keep you on your toes. Most of the time though, they're still super fun to race against. I'm not usually a fan of extreme difficulty in games, but SHOX seems to be the rare exception for me. Control is bang on. Very much in the vein of the SEGA Rally games, SHOX is 100% power slide focused. With a wheel in hand, the similarities can be quite striking. I love the courses here and how they get longer as you progress through the game. Give up on the notion of clean runs though. SHOX wants you to play dirty. I had to quit playing nice to get anywhere. It's simply more effective to bang the rear end of your car into a wall on a tighter corner rather than risk the speed you lose by drifting perfectly. My biggest gripe with the game is no time trial mode. I'd love to have been able to properly learn these courses before jumping in, but it is what it is. The game also features a slew of multiplayer modes, but I haven't had a chance to try this out at all. I can't get enough of SHOX at the moment. It feels like a long-lost coin-op spliced with an EA big game, and I adore it. If you're up for a true challenge, then SHOX has you covered.
3, 2, 1. Five, four, three, two, one, go!
Battle Gear 2 is a fantastic home port for the PlayStation 2 that expands on the arcade original. More cars, spruced up graphics, and extra track variations that I personally haven't managed to unlock yet, it's all here. Battle Gear 2 is all about the gameplay. It has some of the best arcade driving mechanics you'll find on the PlayStation 2 hands down. Drifting is super satisfying, and when using a controller, I go for the right stick for gas and brake, as it really gives you that granular control needed to navigate these tracks, something that I find a little bit of a struggle when using the buttons. There is a large selection of cars to choose from. The lighter cars accelerate quickly and are pretty nimble, but lack outright power, whereas the more powerful cars give you that speed but require more effort when it comes to making it through the tighter corners on the later tracks. Speaking of tracks, they're brilliantly designed. The first two tracks are wider, lap-based, and will allow you to get to grips with the satisfying driving mechanics. The latter two are Touge passes and are super narrow, fiendishly curvy, with plenty of chicanes and back-to-back hairpins. Just time trialing these are a challenge, let alone racing on them. Passing an AI driver is, well, a battle in and of itself, requiring patience and a deft hand. Wins do not come easy on the Touge tracks. I've always struggled with these in the game myself, as I find them harder to memorize than a lap-based course. And when you throw in trying to win a race on top, I get the palm sweats and go into a kind of meltdown mode. It's a challenge to overcome for sure. So even when I finish a place ahead of my last run, it's a win for me. Battle Gear 2 also has wheel support, and it is glorious. It really feels arcade perfect playing this way, but be aware the game only supports the PS2's GT Force wheel, so if you're emulating, make sure to set up your wheel to mimic the GT Force. Is it better than the gamepad control? That's hard to say. It's more immersive, that's for sure, but in all honesty the gamepad controls are flawless anyway, so don't feel like you're missing out on anything by not using a wheel. There's just so much depth here. You'll pick up Battle Gear 2 pretty quickly, but really getting into all the handling nuances can take a lot of time. That's a hallmark of a great arcade racer right there, and I'm still working at it myself. Battle Gear 2 really nails the arcade look. It's simple done well, and I love the overall aesthetics on display. It runs at a flawless 60 frames per second, features some gorgeous car models, and the courses are varied and colourful. The sequel Battle Gear 3 would go on to really show off what the PlayStation 2 could do, and I'll get to that one in a future video. But Battle Gear 2 is still a looker in my books. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the music selection. It's generally all gamey J-rock, and it fits the game like a glove. The vocal tracks in the game are pretty phenomenal and total earworms to boot. You'll be singing them out loud before too long. If you haven't tried Battle Gear 2, then make it a priority. It's so well executed and stands as one of the finest arcade-to-home conversions on the PlayStation 2. If you've played it before, then you know what I'm talking about. It's classic arcade racing and an absolute must-play.
Finish!
A perfect port of the arcade original, Virtua Racing FlatOut is most definitely not. Playing the game, it's quite clear that it follows the lead set by Virtua Racing on the SEGA Saturn, and was built from the ground up without any access to the source code from the original Model 1 arcade version of Virtua Racing. control is fantastic, but quite different to the original game. Visually, it's a step up above in certain areas, but also a little lacking in others. Let's start with the visuals. Virtua Racing FlatOut impresses out of the gate with a killer 60 frames per second and some subtle yet gorgeous reflections on your car. The draw distance is comparable to the original arcade game, but the pop-in is handled quite differently, and at times it looks like the track is being built right before your eyes. In the thick of a race though, you're likely not to be focusing on that too much. The game is also quite dark, but thanks to some killer post-processing features in PCSX2, you can do as I did here and brighten things up a bit to bring them much closer to the original colours and brightness. My settings here aren't exact, but I find it gives the visual punch needed to make the game scream arcade. But it's the gameplay that's really interesting here. It doesn't seem like the development team wanted to create a one-to-one copy of the driving mechanics of Virtua Racing Arcade, but to build on what already existed. In some ways, it's a major success. There's no denying how amazing it can feel to carve around these tracks, and carve seems like an appropriate way to describe the handling. It's tight, drifty, and you can really pull off some crazy racing lines with unnerving regularity, meaning that things control-wise are very consistent. Unfortunately, the cars seem to turn on a central pivot, rather than shift their weight from axle to axle. This could annoy purists, as it looks much less natural in motion than Model 1 Virtual Racing. Give into it though, and it feels absolutely sublime. Virtua Racing FlatOut does have wheel support, but in my experience, it's not quite ideal. There's an inherent dead zone that could be irritating to work around, and the force feedback, at least via emulation, is no good, so I killed it. I had fun playing with a wheel, and it does bring it much closer to the arcade, so give it a crack if you have the means. Virtua Racing FlatOut adds 3 new tracks, and they are easily on par with the original 3. They're all original and not taken from any other port, and it's impressive how well they sit alongside the classic track. There's also 4 new cars to unlock in Grand Prix mode, and they're all quite unique, handled differently, and add some variety to your play. Neither the new tracks or cars are available to use in the game's arcade mode. The arcade mode contains the same set of features as arcade Virtua Racing, but you'll be able to experience them to your heart's content in every other mode. All up, I'd say Virtua Racing FlatOut is a success. It's not a carbon copy of the arcade original, and doesn't have the typical SEGA level of polish most of their arcade releases have. But what it is a fantastically different take on the formula. It's a lot of fun, I'd say go for it. Edit Racing is not the most polished or accomplished racer out there. It looks like a lesser Dreamcast racing game, has some pretty dick move course design, and the level of difficulty can be all over the place. Give into it however, and you may just find yourself enamored. ARC is all about discovery, and this one is new to me too. I think I found a new favourite. The main mode of play is the Championship mode. Pick your character, choose your convertible, and race a qualifying lap to determine your place for the actual race. The money earned in races will go towards buying more cars to add to your garage and nabbing upgrades for your existing ones. What's awesome here is that you can pretty much cheese your way through the game by replaying races to earn money and get the upgrades you want. It's what I did. I'm only up to the 4th series of GP races because I've replayed the previous ones an inordinate amount of times. I apologise for nothing. Track designs are pretty killer here for the most part. The vast majority feature some kind of scripted moment of destruction that will force you to carefully navigate around it to come out unscathed. I'm actually reminded a little of Speed Devils on the SEGA Dreamcast here. There's some similar vibes going on. Some janky track design does rear its ugly head every now and then. Some of the choices will even have you flabbergasted until you figure out exactly how the game wants you to tackle certain sections. Once you've got it down, it's super satisfying, but it could definitely put some off. Overall though, the tracks are fun, but no joke. There's some seriously great driving and drifting mechanics in Edit Racing. It's all very Moorish, and I've constantly had this itch to play based on the gratifying gameplay alone. It also happens to feature a super quirky but shockingly playable cockpit cam that shows off your character while they drive. I absolutely love this. The game gets its Edit Racing moniker from the custom track options in the game. Firstly, there's a track builder that lets you either edit pre-existing tracks or build your own. I've only dabbled with it myself, but I can see myself returning to create some more tracks for sure. If you're playing on a real PlayStation 2, then there is another curious feature, one that allows you to insert your own music CDs and the game will read the CD tracks and create courses from them. I haven't been able to get this feature working via emulation, so those of you with this game out there for real hardware, let me know in the comments down below how it worked out for you. It sounds like a pretty killer feature. Graphically, the game is functional at best, but you shouldn't expect much more from the budget Simple 2000 series of games. The 30 frames per second is disappointing, but it is rock solid and ultimately the game remains very playable. The music, however, is excellent. It's all catchy J-rock stuff, with some chill, loungy music for the menus. It's very of the time, but fits the racing action perfectly.
That's a long way to go.
When it comes down to it, Edit Racing is a great example of a lower budget racer that does some really cool things, has some flaws, but ultimately proves itself more than worthy of your time. I highly recommend you give this one a shot. If you can tolerate some jank, it may just become your next arcade racing obsession.
Nice driving, guy.
I used to pump a lot of tokens into the Initial D arcade stage machine at my local RSL club as a young dude. I never read the manga, but I collected the anime on DVD for a few seasons, and when it came to the arcade game, the intoxicating mix of Eurobeat and SEGA Racing was a blend I just couldn't go past. Initial D Special Stage on the PS2 is the home port of Initial D Arcade Stage version 2. And along with the full arcade mode, it also includes an exclusive story mode that hits and makes playable major beats in Act 1 to 3 of the original manga's storyline. It's a great addition for home play, but fair warning, the difficulty level is quite brutal. I've had my work cut out for me getting anywhere in story mode. Time trials and ghost battles round out the package. Until fairly recently, this Japanese-only release was quite hard to get into, given the massive swathes of Japanese text. The English patch, however, is a game changer and has opened up the game for English-speaking audiences. And what a game it is. Initial D is all about the drift, and the driving mechanics here in Special Stage are arcade accurate. Milder corners are easier to make it through here, with only minor management of your gas if at all. Harder corners will require much more effort. Sudden braking just before and some intense gas management and counter steering will get you where you need to be. The mechanics are not complex, so the real challenge will come from the increasingly narrow Touge courses and the insane sense of speed the game has. Initial D asks you to retain as much of that speed as possible if you want to have any chance at besting your rival drivers. Despite selectable easy, normal and hard difficulties, Special Stage is difficult regardless of your choice. Things start off relatively easy, but it's not long before the difficulty ramps up with some complex real-life courses and particularly nasty AI driver spikes to overcome. It's nothing that can't be beat with some persistence, and the infinite retries help a lot. But a challenge this game most definitely is. Yet another nigh on perfect arcade port, Initial D looks fantastic. It features gorgeous car models, nice looking tracks and gorgeous art all throughout. But it's the Eurobeat that makes the game. And it's a shame I can't show you much of it here, because Eurobeat hits those content ID flags like nothing else these days. But know that Special Stage features all the classics. Space Boy, Remember Me, Love Is in Danger, No One Sleeping Tokyo, Beat of the Rising Sun, it's all here. It's all sing-along, and with a pair of good headphones, it's an oral experience on the PS2 like no other. Literally perfect. My only gripe with this port is the middling effort made to adapting the arcade controls to a pad. Things are much too sensitive. It improves greatly with a wheel, and I had it set up perfectly for a while, but when it came to recording the gameplay, I started having issues with my wheel setup, so I had to settle for playing with a controller. When my wheel was working, however, it was untouchable, and really is the way Initial D Special Stage should be experienced. It's as good as a port of the arcade game you could have possibly asked for back in the day, and remains a classic. Definitely one of the PlayStation 2's greatest arcade races, Initial D Special Stage needs to be experienced by everybody. So there you have it. 5 absolute must-play PlayStation 2 arcade races. Have you played any of these? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This video is possible thanks in part to my ARC supporters. I really appreciate the vote of confidence, and I can't thank you enough. A super special shout out goes to ARC super supporter No More Mercy. If you like these videos and want me to make more and more often, then consider becoming an ARC supporter channel member yourself. You'll get early access to my videos, credits in each one, and also some super dodgy but handcrafted with love emojis and badges. But know that I also appreciate you just watching in the first place, and your liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and hitting the notification bell helps me out a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.